So my computer is broken and I can't record my usual videos and my usual podcast. And I do have stuff recorded, but I can't really edit it. So I'm making this short video because I had some thoughts and I wanted to share with you those thoughts. And I'm curious what you're gonna think. And I would like to hear your opinions in the comments. I want to hear your opinion. Like, I want you to challenge me and tell me your opinion so we can actually discuss it, because that's like the type of video that I want to do. As you saw from the title, probably, I want to talk about when you feel less or you suddenly start questioning yourself and thinking like, am I worthy? Am I doing the right thing? Am I in the right place? Am I smart enough? Am I funny enough? Am I, talented enough? And it's like, it's a weird thing because from what I noticed from myself, it's changing depending on the environment that I'm in. So, like, let me like give you an example of what I mean. Like for me as a musician, for example, right? I noticed that if, for example, let's say I go to an open mic that is only for beginners, and the people there are just picked up a guitar or just starting out, just like doing it for fun, not professionally, and I go to the same room and I'm thinking, oh my god, I'm like so good, because like I go on stage, for example, and I've been like performing for years now, and I go on stage and everyone's looking at me and they're like, oh my god, you're so good, blah, 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 and all these compliments, and you're like on top of the world because you're like, oh my god, I am so talented, I'm the best, right? But then imagine the same situation, well, the same act, right? But like you go to perform to a room full of people who were performing for longer than you, for example, like talented, amazing, like, I don't know, Grammy nominated musicians, right? Like talented ass people, and you go there and you go with the same talent that you had before, like the same talent, the same song, the same performance, you do absolutely the same thing, but now the reaction is different. Right now you may be not the best in the room because maybe there are people that are better than you in this room, and they're like, cool. Or worse, they're like, is that all you got? You know? And then suddenly you feel so bad and you feel like you're not talented enough and you're not good enough, and and you're not capable of, maybe you should like quit because there's so many other talented people there, right? And notice that you did not change. The situation changed, the people around you changed, but you haven't. So, that comes to like, that makes me kind of like think about our perspective. I have a song about it that's coming out soon, which is cool. It's called What You See. But it's about the perspective, and how we see things and the situations we're in, right? Because it's the same scenario, it's the same thing, but the people changed and their reaction to you changed and your reaction to them changed, right? So, and then I start asking myself, I'm like, so how do we know? Like, oh, it's hard to explain, but let me put it in a thought. It's very raw, this video. I'm just like thinking out loud with you. But then how do you know which one is true? I mean, they're both true, right? Like, but how do you determine what thought you should go with? The first one or the second one? Because the first one will make you think, oh my god, I'm the best, I should go to America Got Talent and compete because I am so good. And the second one can make you think I should give up my career because clearly I am not the best, right? Well, technically, both thoughts are very extreme, but it's for the example. Like, I'm really curious about the thought process of like how we work, because I mean, I don't know, maybe for you it's different. Maybe you will go and you'll be the best and it will make you feel differently about things, and maybe no, you know what? If you go to the other room and people are like, "Oh, you're fine, you're not the best, you're right. Is that all you got?" But instead of being discouraged, maybe your thought would be, oh my God, I need to practice more and I need to become better. Like, I don't know what's your take from that? Because from what I understand is our self-reflection about ourselves can change according to the situation we're put in, right? But is it the right way to go about it? Because obviously everything is a comparison. Even when you promote your business or doing your job, or everything is a matter of comparison. Even if you come to a new position and you filling in for a person who was absolutely the worst in their job and they got fired and then you got hired instead, then when you do like even slightly bit better, you're being compared to this person that didn't do their job right. So you'll be praised for doing amazing work, right? But if you're coming in to fill the shoes of somebody who is like incredible, but they're like retired or moved to a different position or whatever, you're expected to fill in their shoes, and you may be not as good anymore because maybe they were better than you. And then you're being judged in comparison to what other people expect of you, right? And then in this situation, what comes to my mind is that there's a book, it's called The Four Agreements. I recommended this book in my previous episode. It's right here. I can link it. If it's not linked, it's because I'm editing from my phone. So excuse me, but it's going to be down below, I hope. But The Four Agreements, check out this book. It's like a really short read. It's like 4 rules of life. And spoiler alert, one of the rules is always do your best. And I love this rule because it means that it kind of like reverses everything that I just said, I guess, right? And it's kind of like saying it doesn't matter which room you're at. It doesn't matter who are you being compared to. Always do your best. If today your best is, I don't know, that, then today this is your best. Tomorrow, this is your best. In a week, this is your best, but you always do your best. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like that. It's interesting because I start again, this video is not scripted, so I'm like not I didn't plan on like what I'm gonna say. I'm just like, it's my thought process with you because I noticed that this is what's happening to me. Depending on the room that I'm at, I might feel differently about myself because I start comparing myself to these other people. And sometimes it's good and sometimes that's bad. But thinking about it, if I'm following the rule of always do your best, well, that's the first rule of like not being intimidated, about situations like that. But I think it's also important to know when you don't belong to where you at. This feeling when you like enter a room and you try to fit in and you try to like go with it, but it's just like doesn't feel right. I guess that's a matter of like understanding how you feel about a situation. But if I'm thinking about myself, I'm very self-conscious and I tend to judge myself way too much. And if I'm in the wrong room, I might get really, really discouraged because if I'm like in the beginning of my journey to whatever, somewhere, or like maybe I'm in a room where people know something that I'm insecure about when it comes to me, I might get a little discouraged, which I'm not bragging about. Like, I'm not proud of. It's not the best quality, but it's just, it is a quality. It's something that I am, something that I do, is that I compare myself sometimes to other people. And then I tend to, like, start thinking, oh, shit, I'm not good as them. Well, like, what chances do I have? Or whatever it is, like, I tend to, like, minimize myself sometimes, which is not good. But I do that. So so what I'm trying to say is, I'm always trying to understand whether I'm in the right room and need to like get my shit together and like stop being so sensitive and learn from the people I'm with, or maybe I'm in the wrong room. Because sometimes, like sometimes we go into places and we just don't belong. No matter like how good we are or like, how much we can learn from the people that are there. It's just like sometimes we just don't feel that that's the place for us. And it's okay to walk away from that. It's okay to, like, I walked out of many, many rooms that I just didn't feel comfortable in, even if it was like with other musicians or with other photographers or with people that supposedly are, like valuable to my career. But if I don't feel good about it, if I'm like, something is off, something, I don't feel like myself, I feel like I'm underappreciated or minimized or disrespected because of one reason or another, I will walk out of that room. And I think it's important to remember to always prioritize ourselves and how we feel. And yes, like being critical with yourself, it's important. Like, it's important to understand why you feel off. Like, do you feel off because you're just discouraged because maybe somebody knows something you don't, and you're like, oh my god, this is so sad, I'm not good enough. Well, if that's the case, like, maybe stay, like maybe tell yourself, like, get over it, and it's gonna be okay. Or maybe you're not feeling good in this room because something is just off. It's not your vibe, it's not your energy, and you feel like this weird, like when there's a group of people and everyone seems to be getting along but you, and you're like standing there and you're like, why am I the only one that I'm not enjoying this is not fun for me. It happens to me, not like all the time, but it happens to me many times that I'm very selective about who I hang out with. I'm very selective who I spend my energy on, who I'm talking with, who I'm sharing my space with. And if I'm going, no, it doesn't matter what it is, a social event, a networking event, just meeting people, it doesn't matter. If I feel that something is off, I tend to walk out of the situation because I'm very intuitive, and I know, like, I, I have this, I don't know how to explain, because like it's just something I have. I don't know, like, do you have that? Like, do you feel like, do you walk into a room sometimes and everyone, like, everything seems fine and everything seems like normal, everyone's enjoying, and you're just like feeling this like weird, I don't belong in here. Like, do you feel that sometimes? I don't know, like, it happens to me. Let me know in the comments if you feel that sometimes. But yeah. But I like a big believer of like prioritizing you. If you don't feel that you want to be in the room, don't force yourself to be in the room. That's kind of like where I was going with this. I hope I managed to like say what I was saying, but again, I recommend reading this book. It's awesome, The Four Agreements. And yeah, I would like to know like what you think in the comments, because this is like one thought that I had. But also, like, I'm a very sensitive person. So, like I said, I can get discouraged sometimes and leave just because it makes me feel bad or something, but I shouldn't leave. I should stay. So, like, let me know, like, how do you act in those situations? Like, do you feel discouraged if you're not like the best in the room, or do you feel like you're inspired and you want to learn from everyone? Like, let me know in the comments, because yeah, I'm curious about this topic. But yeah, thank you for listening and staying with me. I hope next week I will get my MacBook back and I will do other videos, but that's for today.